are just a couple of days away from the Game Awards right now. It feels crazy to think about that, right? Because we've been talking about this spot in the calendar for the year for like months. Like, when are they going to show the new trailer at the Game Awards? What will they show in it? What presents will it have if it's there? So there are some things that we haven't discussed. There are a lot of twists, a lot of turns and stuff that we could see present in the trailer. Crazy stuff they are doing with the story in the game that I've kind of waited to get into and talk about. But before we get into all that, we're going to have some real discussions after this, most likely. Subscribe to the channel. Throw a like on the video. Tell your friends, tell your folks, tell everybody who is into this kind of stuff about the channel. Help us grow, help us get there. Make sure to click the bell for all notifications so you know when I'm going live, so you know when I got new content coming. Be a part of the Coffmanite Legion. Let's get it. Let's go. So the main thing that everybody is thinking about with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is what is the deal with the singularity, with Zack, with Sephiroth. But there are tons of other things going on in this story that no one's really talking about, no one's really addressing. They're going to have an impact on this. And will we see a little bit of this in the trailer on Thursday night? Again, if we're getting a trailer, I think we are. It's going to be the most anticipated. I think it's going to win most anticipated game of 2024. So I think we're going to get a trailer as well. So one thing to talk about: Rufus Shinra. Now I've got a video coming probably next week, deep diving on Rufus Shinra and some things that my brain has been percolating about the character. But at the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake, we see clearly that Rufus can see the whispers and what's going on outside. He has some sort of connection to that. That's not going to go away in this game. That will not be going away in this game. There is going to be a twist with Rufus Shinra, I think. I'm wholeheartedly expecting there to be something different with the character. They're going to write him differently. And I think, again, you all hear me say all the time, there's a lot of meat on the bone with this character or with that conflict or something like that. There is a lot of narrative meat on the bone with Rufus Shinra. What direction is he going to take Shinra, all that kind of thing. Now, it looks like, based on the little bit that he says in the trailer that we got, where he's talking about a new world order and a new day for Shinra, like he's very much leaning into the dictator role of Shinra. He's really very much going forward in the direction of the ruthless Rufus. Ruthless Rufus. Try saying that 3 times fast. But what role is he going to play moving forward? How is he going to interact with the party? He's going to have questions. I think he's going to have questions for Aerith. Like, as far as like, what are these things? What are the whispers? And his questions that he may have for Hojo, discussions there. We've heard Rufus talking in the trailer and talking about, they were talking about Shadows of the Man, and like they were like after images of Sephiroth or something. They were talking about some mystery going on with that character. So Rufus is going to be a deep story character in the game. I'm really excited to look forward. I'm looking forward to what they're going to do with him. I think there is a lot of storytelling potential there. The other thing I'm looking forward to, and I hope that we get a tease, a snippet, a look at in the trailer. If not the one for the Game Awards, maybe one soon. The conflict between Barret and Dyne that is going to erupt in Rebirth. I have said before that I hope Dyne is not just like a quickly dispatched kind of 20-25 minute segment in the story. I hope he has an ongoing role in the story. That I hope it finishes up just outside of Midgar in Game 3 when you're going back. And maybe him and Barret have their final showdown outside of Calm. And I said that in a previous video that I would love it if Dyne could see Marlene one last time. Not like interact with her, but he sees her from a distance. And he realizes that he can't be her dad anymore. And then him and Barret have their final showdown. I think that would be very climactic. That would be a great wrap up for Barret's story. I think that would be incredible, and I hope they do something with that. There are a lot of different side stories and things that they can tie up and do more with in the game, and I think that is going to be one of them. And these are all to get you all thinking, getting your brain moving, because these are side character items that are going to have a big impact on the story, away from the Zack, Sephiroth, Cloud stuff. These side things are going to have a major impact on the story. The third thing I've been thinking about, Bugenhagen and Cosmo Canyon and Red 13 and any kind of like, I think Red 13 is going to be like a youthful extension of Bugenhagen's knowledge, because there was a special tie to the planet between Red 13's race and the planet, and knowledge, and being knowledgeable and being mature, kind of beyond years. He's still childlike, but he is very mature and wise as well, which is why I love that the devs said there were going to be dialogue options and stuff, where in different like branches of dialogue, where on some missions you'll hear him speaking as Nanaki, and then on some missions he'll be very much Red 13. Like sometimes he'll sound wise and trying to sound like he's more wise, and then sometimes he'll come off as like slightly immature or childish. I think that's a great way to go about that character, and I think the chatter in the game is going to be super important, especially when you get to other spots on the map, like let's say Temple of the Ancients, Forgotten Capital, even like the Desert Prison, and places that we have yet to see or yet to know about. New places that are going to be in the game. I think you're going to have to listen to chatter. I think you have to listen to Red 13 and characters like Red 13 and Vincent Valentine, and even Sid Highwind, who are like a little bit older. They're going to have some knowledge. They're going to have that kind of thing going on. So I think that will be very, very crucial to not only the story, but exploring the world and getting all of the lore that you can. And you know me, and I know you, the Coffmanite community, we are lore junkies. So give us all that lore, right? That's going to be crucial. That's going to be key, listening for that kind of thing and being aware of when it's being presented to us. A fourth item I've been thinking about, and these are characters that no one is discussing, no one is talking about. The Turks. I think the Turks are going to be a big surprise in Rebirth. Matter of fact, the Turks are one of the things I'm quietly looking forward to the most, because I think they're going to do some different stuff with them. I think we'll see them a little bit more. They will be the extension of Shinra. They will be the arm of Shinra that we run into the most, I feel like, as well as like other soldier members, because I think the other thing they're going to get into in this game, they're going to expand soldier, I think, because if you look at Shinra in the original game, you fight some soldier second and third class members and stuff, but as far as like proper character looks and soldier first class members, like having a definitive look and a definitive style and having like a Roche or something like that, I think you know what I'm saying. Like, we didn't really ever get that. I think we're going to get that in this game. I think that's one of the big changes they're going to make. We could even see like a mystery character, like a mystery type of character in the trailer that we're going to get. Like a soldier, like a straight up soldier first class, like the party fighting them. See, that's the kind of thing I would love to see. I would love to see them put something like that out there. But the Turks are going to be excellent. There's going to be great dialogue. There's going to be great character interactions, moments where you don't even fight them, like you just run across them. I'm really looking forward to the Mithril Caves and the introduction of Elena. I think that's going to be a fantastic segment in the story. And also, do we finally get the Sung, however you want to say it, the Sung boss fight? Do we finally get it? Are we going to get to fight Sung? And I would love, by the end of the game, if we have a battle with all of the Turks. You know, Sung, Elena, Rude, Reno, whatever other Turks they might add to the story in this, because I'm sure there are more than just the 4, right? They've got Turks everywhere. So everybody's talking about Cisne. Cisne, it'd be great to see her come into the story and be active in some way, although I think she'll be active with whatever Zack is doing in the story. So we'll see about that. But the Turks, soldier, all that kind of thing, give me all of that. Give me all of that. And show me a soldier first class member in the trailer. Show me that. I want to see that. Speaking of Shinra, another character that I want to spend more time with in the game narratively. Hojo. I want to know what I think there's going to be some great, amazing dialogue, mystery unveilings, and everything with Hojo in this game. I think he's going to have a vested interest in the party that's running around. I think he's going to be kind of like he was in the OG game, but amplified. Like, he became less interested with Shinra and his experiments at Shinra, and he was more interested with the reunion. Like, to the point where it was almost like he was abandoning, well, not almost, like he was abandoning Shinra by the end of the game. Like, he was trying to fire the Sister Ray into the Northern Crater to give Sephiroth energy and all that kind of, like, he was going against prime directives with Shinra to see his research through. Like, he was abandoning Shinra. I think we're going to see that play out even more in this game, and even earlier, like when Hojo's on the beach vacation. I think it'll start as a goofy scene, you know, but I think it's gonna devolve into something sinister. Like, I think through talking with Hojo there on the beach, I think we're gonna get something very sinister. Everything with Hojo has to have a sinister undertone to it, and they've done a great job with that to this point. I'm really excited about what they do with him, the secrets he's going to unveil, all that kind of stuff. And moving on to the next guy, Vincent Valentine. Vincent Valentine is going to have, I feel like, a lot of knowledge, and I hope they play up his tie with Chaos, because in the original game, they didn't really do anything with that. Like, he had a Chaos form, but they didn't do much talking about the lore. The lore and everything was expounded upon by the time they got to Dirge of Cerberus. That was, again, the compilation was all these notes they had after, all these notes and all these things they wanted to do after they finished 7, and then they thought about it for years and they tried to do stuff with it. Vincent Valentine is going to be a big point in Rebirth where we start to see all of that. This is Final Fantasy VII Director's Cut stuff happening. We're going to see the stuff with Chaos and foreshadowing for the things that maybe happen in Dirge of Cerberus. Any kind of, like, you know, deep ground association that we're going to have going on in the game. So it's going to be wild to hear him talk about Hojo, and maybe Hojo referencing Vincent, like when they come into contact with each other, because there's a personal issue there. It's not just like, oh, you were just a random test subject, and that's how Hojo will probably treat it, but there's a very personal, like this trinity of personal domestic issues going on between Hojo, Vincent, and Lucretia, right? That is really the beginning of this whole crisis, because Hojo and Lucretia are Sephiroth's physical, biological parents, with the Genova cells and everything in there, and Vincent could have done something about it. So that's going to be a big story point of emphasis, and I think we'll see that start in this game, but then we'll see that come to a head in the third game, obviously, because that's the finish, that's the resolution. So also the Shinra Rogues Gallery, right? We talked about Hojo, we talked about Sang, he's the leader of the Turks, we've talked about Rufus, Heidegger, Scarlet, and Palmer. I think that last shot at the end of Remake, where it showed them lined up, that was an important shot. As a director, if I'm lining up a shot, if I want to show foreshadowing, as a director of a project, that was perfect foreshadowing. I said when we watched that, it felt like a Metal Gear Rogues lineup, and Metal Gear has some of the best rogues, like the craziest type of, like, quote-unquote real-world rogues you could probably get, you know, except for Psycho Mantis. I don't know how real-world that would be. If you look at that shot, they were setting up the big villains for Rebirth. I think we will get some kind of Heidegger Scarlet battle. I think we'll get something with Palmer and Rocket Town, not just him getting, you know, you do fight Palmer and Rocket Town, but I think it will be a little more involved this time. I do hope they keep him getting hit by a box truck for no reason. Like someone's just moving into Rocket Town and they got a box truck, you know. They got the Penske truck and just runs over Palmer, you know. I do hope they keep that, because that's kind of silly and lighthearted. But that's a big one, you know. Now Heidegger and Scarlet, they have more of a role in what would be equivalent of game number 3, right? The final part of the story. But I do believe we will get Heidegger and Scarlet battle stuff in Rebirth. Think like some of Heidegger's war technology, and actually I think Scarlet is like the head of weapons research, weapons R&D or something like that. So those two work together hand in hand. Like, he is the military general, she is the weapons, the R&D person. So I think that is a package deal with the two of them. And I think, you fight Proud Claude at the end of the Midgar portion of the game in the third disc of the original. You fight like a prototype of that in Intermission. So I think we're going to get more of something like that. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that goes and how they wrap up the Shinra Rogues Gallery. And the whole time, Rufus Shinra and the mystery with him circling overhead with this whole thing. And we obviously know, some might not, but he did have a financial backing in Avalanche originally. And it's kind of a dark story too. He wanted his dad out of the way, so he was helping them out. No love lost between Rufus and his dad. He did not care about his dad, President Shinra. He wanted him out of the way, so he got what he wanted. So now it's going to be interesting to see how his character shifts now that they're rewriting some things in this new remake saga. Especially, I keep going back to him seeing the whispers, that kind of thing. It's going to be wild to see how they work him in. The next thing, Yuffie. I really think there's some kind of mystery or something going on with Yuffie. I really do. And I keep saying Intermission, when she has that horrific, terrible experience, she loses Sonon, she's just mere feet away from the plate dropping onto Sector 7. She witnesses all this horror right from the start. Now, and then it cuts to her after that during the day on a chocobo going through the wasteland. You all might be right about this, and it could just be trauma, and I've thought about that too. It's trauma, she's blocking it out, that's why she's kind of carefree there at the end or whatever. But I don't know, again, I go back to, as a director, if I'm showing that, I'm showing that for a reason. I think there's something more going on. I think that is showing Yuffie in Zack's world. I think that's what that's showing. And that will be interesting if they do something, if they do something to the effect of illustrating the loss when the cataclysm happens and the worlds merge during the reunion. Like if one Yuffie you get to know this with Zack gets torn away, or something like that, like the snap in the MCU. You know what I mean? I don't like that. I'll put that out there first off. I don't like that. I think it's lazy, but it's also going to be interesting to see if that is the same Yuffie that it shows. Because if there are two worlds created because of the divergence and the interference of Sephiroth and Fate and all that other kind of stuff. We're not going to get into all that right now. You all know we've been down the road on that. There is another Yuffie, right? Now we know what happened to the other party. They are dead. Like in Zack's world, they are dead. We saw the Shinra News thing. That's not propaganda. That's not them faking it or whatever. Those characters are dead. I wholeheartedly feel those characters are dead. So, but Yuffie's still out there. Vincent's still asleep in the Shinra mansion in that world. Sid Highwind is around somewhere. See right there on the screen, like right there, that happening. So there are doubles of characters that aren't them that passed away. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes and how they handle that. It's a fine line they're going to walk here, and I am, as a storyteller and as a producer and all that kind of stuff, I am really excited to see how they handle what they're trying to do and to find out exactly what it is they're trying to do at the end of the day. We all have our theories, and I've said many times, and you all know, it's one of my most popular sayings. It's like we're all right and we're all wrong until we're not. So it's going to be fascinating to see what pans out, what shakes out, you know, and it'll just be a lot of fun. And at the end of the day, I'm just ready to play this thing. So those are some things that I've been thinking about to maybe get you thinking about where we're going with the story, other characters that we're not really talking about a whole lot, and what purpose they may have in the story. We didn't even get into Cid Highwind and Tifa and Aerith. Everybody's talking about Aerith and Tifa. I've got a lot of thoughts, a ton of thoughts on Aerith and Tifa. I didn't really necessarily want to squeeze into this video. That'll be something for the next one. And Cid Highwind. We'll be talking about them soon. But again, thank you all for hanging out with me today. This is some things I want to talk about. So I figured I'd do, instead of several videos, I'd do one kind of rapid fire video, plant that in your brain, get you all thinking about it, get you hyped up for the Game Awards trailer that I 99.9% feel we're getting. I feel confident in saying that. And subscribe to the channel. Again, appreciate you all. Throw a like on the video, share it around, tell everybody who you think might care a little bit. Help us keep growing. We're growing by leaps and bounds, and I appreciate you all. And until next time, you all have a great day. Be safe, be good to each other, keep rocking, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care. I want to say a quick thank you to my YouTube and Patreon members and supporters. If you would like to support the future creation of content on this channel, get some few extra perks and some art sent to your door every month, consider becoming a Patreon or YouTube member. Details and links are in the video description.